Has Joe Biden finally lost faith in his VP? After Kamala Harris botched nearly every project the president put on her plate, it appears the White House PR team is trying to turn the page, push Kamala aside, and beef up First Lady Jill Biden's profile. They coordinated a new puff piece published in Vogue magazine today that claims, quote, the role Dr. Biden is fulfilling is in many ways neither First Lady nor professor, but a key player in her husband's administration, a West Wing surrogate and policy advocate. Couple this with reports that Jill Biden, not Joe or Kamala, will be representing the U.S. at the Tokyo Olympics. We have to ask, is she Joe's new number two? Here to react are former White House press secretary and host of Outnumbered, Kayleigh McEnany, as well as Fox News contributor Karl Rove. All right, Karl, I've picked up on this. It does look like they're trying to propel Jill Biden into a more senior role at the expense of Kamala Harris, and you can tell she's seething in the background. I don't know if you picked up on a photograph last week. They had a bunch of the players in that bipartisan budget deal go out to announce outside the White House. Kamala's kind of lurking in the background, not really there, just kind of lurking off camera. I don't know what's going on. What's your assessment?
Well, first of all, lots of first ladies get Vogue articles. And let's remember, this is a Vogue article. We're talking about New York Fashion Magazine. So they generally do a nice story about the first lady. They do a really, really nice story about the first lady if she's a Democratic first lady.
Right.
And this one's over the top. You know, Jill Biden's relationship to fashion seems to have been complicated by the pandemic. She looks like a virtual goddess, another line. You know, the way she was received here was beyond touching. Second of all, this writer injects himself into this story in weird ways. And about 75% of the way through, all of a sudden, I'd talked to Joe Biden on the phone a few times, once at their beach house in Delaware, the grandkids swirling around. When someone handed me a cell phone, Joe wants to talk to you, and then we're subjected to several paragraphs.
Wow, because when I give interviews, I always invite the reporter to my beach house.
Yeah, exactly.
Karl,
exactly.
You know, it's not just that, though. Kayleigh, it's that now they have this profile, and they're making her out to be something more than your traditional first lady, like some sort of policy wonk or power player. And I just remember that photograph when she was over in Air Force One flying over to Europe, and she's at the big desk and she's working and she's got all these notes while Kamala's down in Central America trying to figure out what the root causes are. I can't help but think there's got to be some sort of jockeying for position here in the hierarchy of the White House.
Seems that way. An insider tip, that picture that was taken of Jill Biden on Air Force One, that was at the president's desk. I can tell you the First Lady, Melania Trump, never sat at the president's desk in his private cabin. I mean, that was shocking. In this article, yes, they describe her as the designated driver of that $1 trillion COVID relief plan. I don't know why you need a designated driver. We should have a president who doesn't need that, who can control it himself. They also say she's in charge of reimagining education, whatever that means. We're doing a ton of reimagining. Well, you're right. Kamala's lurking in the background, trying to remind Joe to bring up the tragedy in Florida at an event. He clearly has multiple handlers. Kamala one. Jill Biden appears to be the second.
They called her the designated driver, Dr. Jill Biden, of the COVID relief
of a
bill?
Portion of it, they said.
Oh, a portion.
Yes.
Okay.
But
all
still.
right, Karl, you know, we don't want to disparage the president. He's obviously the leader of the country, but not so obviously. Because you've seen it. He even says it himself, oh, I'm going to get in trouble if I stay and talk to the reporters. He's obviously highly scripted. Have you seen anything objectively that concerns you about his ability to really fulfill the role of commander-in-chief?
No, but there's a danger in this article, and it starts where you started this whole discussion, namely that she is a policy advisor. Look, this is a danger for the Biden White House. Let's say that you want to have a full discussion of an issue, and you figure out that Jill Biden is on the opposite side of the issue. Do you really want to be the person in the White House arguing against what the First Lady is? This is why, that's why, look, Nancy Reagan was sensitive about this. Go read what she wrote about her concerns. Barbara Bush was concerned about it. Laura Bush was concerned about it. Hillary Clinton was not. When I was at the White House, my office was formerly her office. She was the first Lady to have an an office in the West Wing as opposed to just the East Wing. She had 2 offices because she wanted to send a message. If there's an issue that I'm concerned about, I'm going to be in my West Wing office, which is big enough to have a conference table and have 12 or 13 people around the table so I can be heard with where I want to be on this. That was a problem for the Clinton White House. Talk to people who work there. They were always concerned about getting on the wrong side of Hillary. If this is really true, and I'm not certain it is, but if it really is true that she is a presidential advisor taking a lead on infrastructure, education, and public policy writ large, that's a problem.
No, maybe she can fix the border crisis. All right, and I guess, guys, the move, if you work at this White House, never disagree with the First Lady, right?
Good advice.
Never disagree.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Karl, Kayleigh, thanks.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.